Hey, Miss Brown's class. So today we're going over rate of change and slope. They are the same thing. You can use the definitions interchangeably. Okay. This week we're also going to be taking a look at initial value. What that means is what is the value when you're starting your problem. So in this first example, as you guys know, I ditched you in October to go to Paris. So I brought 200 euros in cash, and I was spending about 40 euros per day. So I have two parts to this question. So what is my initial value? That means what did I start with, okay? If you want to go ahead and write down in some notes that initial means starting, you can do that, okay? On a graph, what I would do is take a look here. At 0 days, I start with 200 euros. Okay, now I'm spending $40 per day. So is this going to be a positive slope where I'm getting more money, or is this going to be a negative slope as I approach 0? Hopefully we thought negative, because if you are spending money, that is a negative amount, okay? So if I drop 40, here on my y-axis, I have a scale of about 20 per box. So drop down 40 after 1 day. Second day I spend another 40. So 20, 40, that's day 2. Okay, you can continue on with this process. You really only need about 2 points to make a line. So go ahead, connect those dots. All right, so looking at this line, we can see that I have a constant rate of change. Every day I'm spending the same amount. I can do a few other things with this amount, or with this problem. So initial value, 200 euros. Rate of change, so how much am I changing by each day? It's not just going to be $40, but because that 40 is dropping down in value, it's going to be a negative 40. Okay, this part is essential. So if I were to write an equation for this, I would say y equals negative 40x, that's the slope, how much I drop each time, plus, what is my starting value? 200. Now, I could also phrase the question, I could say, how many days do I have until I go broke? Okay? 2 ways to test that out. I could say, all right, when would my y value have a 0? So 0 equals negative 40x plus 200. This goes back to our 2-step equations that we did earlier in the year. So what I want to do here is I want to subtract 200 from each side. So I have negative 200 equals negative 40x. Now I want x alone. So in order to get rid of that, this says negative 40 times x. The opposite of multiplication, divide both sides by negative 40. 200, or negative 200 divided by negative 40. So remember, a negative divided by a negative cancels out. That equals 5. What that 5 represents is it would take me 5 days before I ran out of money. Also, if I did that on my graph, that would represent the point 50, which if I continued my line, let's see if it looks like it goes in that direction. Magic, okay? Now, what this negative portion represents is if I wasn't using cash, if I was spending it on my credit card, it's possible that I could accidentally go beyond 0 and I could be in debt, okay? If I stayed for 6 days, I would owe $40 on my credit card. If I stayed 7 days, I would owe $80 or 80 euros, on my credit card. So that's what a negative slope looks like and how I could interpret it into a real life situation.